Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another scene for the Empire of Thorns. Tonight's scene finds. Sorry, hang on. Okay. Tonight's scene finds a handful of people in the court of Queen Mir of the Autumn Court who has called for anybody who is willing to come and help a friend of hers. So anybody who is willing to show up to the ruling court is welcome to do so, and I see that we have a handful of volunteers already here. She actually will invite you all to Belvedere Castle proper and into the throne room. And once you are all in there, there sits uh, the archivist of I believe that's what he's called. Anyway, older gentleman sitting in the front right, the very front, like pew, as it were, of the throne room, sitting there and just surrounded by books and wearing an old tweed jacket with patched sleeves, and he is wrinkled. I mean, he's got wrinkles that have wrinkles. Yes, the Lord Scrivener, that's right. Um, and he has, and he's just covered with a thick layer of dust. So he's sitting there in the front right, as he almost always is. And you all may announce your arrivals and tell me what you're up to and all that.
Well, being an autumn courtier, Iris has decided that it might be a good idea for her to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll probably have arrived fairly early and be sat on one of the seats somewhere around, doing some embroidery,
Okay.
making some bookmarks, because when she goes to the goblin markets, if she's buying something that's fairly small, she tends to use embroidered bookmarks.
Very cool.
Azure
I
will
have,
pop in.
mhm.
After that, Azure will pop in and wave to Iris and announce herself to the Lord Scrivener.
The
Um,
Lord Scrivener looks up and kind of gives you a nod and goes right back to what he was doing.
um, hello? Oh, oh. Yeah, Seb was probably celebrating his promotion with Kiko when he got news of what was happening, and he thought, ah, damn it, I should really go to this. And yes, so he turns up after this and just nods at Iris and Kiko and Iris and Az, and then nods at the old whatever his name is, I forgot.
Okay.
Pearl, having been sent by Liam and told to play nice and make some more friends, looks very, very embarrassed and nervous and ready to scream her safe word at any moment.
Yes, the court under the influence of the Autumn Court is quite appalling in a lot of ways. And even when there's not a lot going on, it's just there's a vague sense of menace that just hangs around it.
Yeah, I think she was more freaked out by the spring court, though. They licked her.
Yeah.
They'll, yeah.
She's a spring quarter, and she got licked by Spring Quarter King when she was trying to figure out who was married to who.
Yeah, the autumn courtiers are less likely to lick you. I can tell you that at least.
Yeah.
Most of them. So, all right. After a little while, uh, the Fool of the First Frost, Mary Longbones, who those of you who have seen me play Mirror have seen before, will come tumbling into the room, followed shortly by what appears to be a little girl, a little dead girl, who just sort of wanders in behind her, carrying a teddy bear. And Mir will walk up onto the dais, and she'll look at all of you. And the Lord Scrivener has stood up. Anybody else who's in here has stood up, and I'm assuming that your characters have also stood up.
Yep.
Of course.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well,
And-
actually, Seb will kneel.
Okay. And she will nod very politely, and she'll say, "You may sit." And then she'll sit herself down.
Okay, Seb will.
So she will look at the four of you, and she will say, "Thank you for responding, my friends. It means a great deal to Autumn to have such loyal and interested parties. I am asking you, those of you who will, to perform a favor for me, a personal favor. And I will account it as such. This is not some Autumn Court business, except in that it is my business. Do you understand?"
Seb will nod. He'll say, as a new member of the Paladin of Shadows, it is my duty to not only serve the court itself, but its queen.
She smiles. She will nod smartly and sit forward in her on the throne. Excuse me. She says, "One of my friends is being harassed in his home and has cause to fear that he will either be ejected from this home or worse, possibly destroyed. This is due to a misunderstanding, and he believes it may be something of our sort that's causing the misunderstanding. So, of course, he came to me. She kind of looks at each of you very kind of critically, and then she'll gesture to an apparent empty space to her right, just slightly, and she'll say, "Can you see him?"
What kind of roll would I need to make?
This would probably be a wits plus composure roll.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try that first. But
Okay.
considering the court
Yay!
and the fact that I do have Eternal Autumn, I might also spend glamour to try and see if it's a ghost. But I'll try this first.
Nope.
I've got one success.
So you
Okay.
said composure, right?
Wits composure, yes.
Right, my dice is. Seems to have trouble with dice string.
3 successes.
Okay.
Nelson,
And
how many do you need?
5.
there we go.
I should roll for you all the time.
But not for me.
You got 2. So,
Okay. Let's see, Pearl, you're looking around to try and figure out who she's talking about. You can see where she's indicating, but you don't see anyone there. If she's looking at someone, either the person is invisible, or it's entirely possible that she's out of her tiny little mind. Those of you who got 2 points, or 2 successes rather, that would be Azure and Nelson, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Azure and Seb, sorry. The 2 of you, basically, yeah, no, she's definitely talking about someone that she can see and that she's aware of, but you're not entirely certain. I mean, you have a pretty good idea of exactly where this person ought to be, but you can't see them. But you're 99% certain that she's not, insane, or at least not any more insane than you'd expect.
Okay.
And Iris, yeah, you can infer from her, um, from her reputation and her strange behavior, the Queen is probably talking about a ghost.
In that case, I'm probably going to activate my contract that lets me be able to see ghosts if I can get subnet to work enough to figure out what I need to roll and which one it is.
Beautiful, yes, please.
Because I've
Wait,
got Eternal, no, not Eternal, Spellbound Autumn. So
gotcha. Hi,
I'm
Tim.
sure one of those allows you to see ghosts.
That's entirely possible. I can go and get my books if needed. I probably should have had them out here, but I don't. Actually, they're only
What do
about.
you need, Deb? What do you need to know?
Um, a Spellbound Autumn
Yep.
contract?
Which level?
I can't remember, but I've got up to level 3, so.
Alright, we have Warlock's Gauge. Yeah, Warlock's Gauge detects the presence of a presence of a supernatural. Barrow Whisper hears and is heard by ghosts. And then Smith's Wisdom, learn the abilities and purposes of an item of power.
So it's probably the first or second one. Because the first one you said was detect supernatural, right?
Yep.
So if she asked if we can see him, then the supernatural one's probably the best one.
It's weird and occult.
Okay. Give me 1 second, guys, here.
And I'm gonna spend some willpower because
Um,
I've definitely been fulfilling my lust for crafts lately, so I shouldn't be low on willpower.
oh, by the way, I think you get a bonus if you have Mantle and Autumn for this.
Um, not for Spellbound Autumn, no, I'm looking at it now.
No, it would be in, like, specifically, you would be looking in the Autumn Court, like, the Autumn Court, specifically. So, hold on. Yeah, you get 2 bonus dice on any contract activation roll that uses occult.
Nice.
Shiny.
Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna spend willpower because I should have plenty of willpower at the moment. And get nothing. Damn you, dice roller!
Yep. I don't
Yeah,
want to disrupt the scene too much, Dante, so just let me know when I can come on in.
you can probably wonder in now. Queen Mary has just asked us if we can see the person that she can see, which is a ghost. Okay, well that failed.
The other one, Deb, was Barrow Whisper, hear and is heard by ghosts.
Yep.
And that's weird and expression.
Weird an expression.
So that would allow you to hear and be heard by ghosts,
Correct.
but not to see them.
No,
Correct.
this one is to sense the supernatural. The other one is to.
Okay, this may be a little meta. I'm sorry, this is only for the catch for Barrel Whisper. Does the ghost here want to communicate? Like,
Yes.
in general?
Yes.
Okay. Iris does get her catch, if you deem it
Cool.
so.
So that's weird plus expression.
And it doesn't cost you a darn thing.
1 success, spending willpower again.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully I should be able to hear and talk to the ghost. So I can't see it, but I can
You
hear
can't
it.
see him, but you can hear what sounds like an old, like really, really, really old man speaking uh, to the queen. But you can't see him. You just know that he's there, and you are the only one who can hear him too, by the way.
What does he say? What is he saying?
Um, most of what he's doing is sobbing. He sounds like he's very upset and very afraid.
Yeah,
And
Iris is just going to look concerned and say, he sounds so sad.
Mir will look towards you and smile, and she'll say, and she'll step down off of the dais and walk towards you all, and basically gesture for the five of you to step forward.
We can
So,
step forward.
Soren
okay.
Whittle? Oh, hey, no one knew he was here.
The queen
I
knew.
knew you were here. I put in the Google that as soon as you enter the room, someone's skipping over to you.
I don't know, you could have come and sat with Iris. She was busy embroidering.
Oh, that is tempting. Hmm.
Yeah, so,
Let's stay by Soren. I've been using him as a meat shield since the last
yeah,
mission from
yeah,
Cold
that's fair
War.
enough. I'm just saying, as people go in the scary court of autumn, Iris is not the scariest.
Seb looks at someone and just goes, Charlotte's so good at jokes. And then he just looks over to the queen to pick the off.
So, once you have all stepped forward, the queen will come down towards you, and she will beckon each of you to bend forward. She takes her right hand and she puts her thumb in her mouth, and she bites down on it with one of her canines, hard enough to draw blood. And she just very gently, as each of you leans forward, swipes a little bit of her blood above your eye. And once she does so and steps back, first and foremost, you can see that there are a host of other people in this room. Some of whom are, they're all, most of the ones that you didn't see before are vaguely transparent. Um, some of them, at least one of them is completely without a head. And let's see.
So as a
Yeah,
pale race, they kind of look like me.
yeah, a little bit. And let's see. The one that is up near the front looks roughly like that. And he really looks afraid and sad. And the queen will say, "This is my friend Benji."
Seb will even out.
Benji is looking at each of you with sort of pleading eyes.
It's very nice to meet you, Benji.
Not everybody in here seems to be giving you the same happy kind of feelings and such. But, they're dead. It's to be expected, one supposes. Um, so she'll turn to Benji and say, "Go ahead." And he says, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm perfectly happy living in my home. But something else is threatening the boy that moved in. Something else is scaring him. I didn't think anything too much of it. I mean, I do what I can to try and help him, but the other night he was calling priests. I if he gets a priest in there, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I mean, I could. I'm not sure how it would go down. I don't know if he'd wind up just running me out, or if I could even make it out, or and he just kind of breaks down and begins crying and covers his face with his hands and cries into his hands for a moment.
Iris is gonna kind of reach forward to pat him on the shoulder, realise she probably can't, and then
Yeah,
turn to look at the others and ask, can you hear him now? Or do you need me to tell you what he's saying?
Seb will say we can, well, at least see him.
yeah, you can all see and hear him now.
And Seb will look to him and will say, what do you know about this thing, and how has it tormented the boy that moved?
He says, I don't know for sure. I know it reminds me of Mir. It I can't see it very clearly, but it comes and goes, and he thinks it's me or someone. He,
Does it remind you of all of us, or Mia specifically?
well, I
I
don't
mean,
know any
is
of
it
you
like?
but her. She's the only one like you that I've ever met. I mean, I never really thought about it, but I
Well, I mean,
guess
is he like us as well, or
not the boy. No, the
no, no,
boy.
the bad thing?
I think so, but I'm not sure. I can't see it clearly, and it just keeps coming, night after night. I think if he doesn't get rid of it, I think it might hurt him and maybe take him somewhere. But if he, I've done everything I can, and at least one time I managed to turn up and make it make it see me, and it ran away. But he saw me too, and I think that just made things worse. I don't want anything to happen to him. He takes good care of my own. I mean, the last people were pigs, but this kid, he's not so bad. I don't wish him any harm. And I mean, if he gets a priest in there, who knows what's going to happen?
Seb will just say, we will take care of whatever is disturbing this boy. As a pardon of shadows, I swear to this.
Oh, thank you, thank you. He like comes over towards you and he holds his hands out towards you and kneels down and just like thank you. I knew I could rely on Mir's friends to help me.
Seb will just smile to him and will say, you can get up. It is alright.
He'll get back up, but he bows as he's doing so. Several of the other spirits in the room, who are all being remarkably quiet, have a sort of a. Several of them have obviously positive reactions to that, and several of them don't. Several, I mean, there's no overtly negative reactions, but
So, where is it that you live?
well, it's my home. It's not too far from here. It's in the Lower East Side. It's where I lived, and well, you know, I can show you if he looks at Mirror as if they can see me. Mir says the enchantment should last until dawn.
Okay.
So it cut out for me. It will last till what?
Dawn.
Dawn.
Okay. So we kind of need to know where this place is, and then we kind of need to figure out what the bad person is and who they are, and we may or may not need to talk to the people who live there at some point, because they might get a bit weirded out by us wandering around.
Oh, the boy that lives there. He's a nice kid. He really is. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help you. So, but yeah, it's not far. We can just take a subway real quick, and I'll show you exactly how to get there.
Iris will look to the others to see if they're ready to go.
Seb will look and will say, if this turns to combat, is there any way we can be able to hit the creature?
Are you asking Benji?
He's asking, well, the room in general.
Okay. Mir says, if it is in fact something from the hedge, then you should have a better chance of it than he.
Clinging to Soren's arm, Pearl's gonna kind of like look around and go, "Well, if Mr. Soren thinks we could handle it, I'm sure we could handle it."
Soren kind of gets a look and kind of just looks over, and he does look a little confused, and he's like, "I think we can
Yeah.
handle most things that come our way."
Seb just
Like,
quietly chuckles and goes, Mr. Soren.
I think at this point, Az's eyes roll so hard they almost pop out of her head.
Okay. So, at this point, Benji is ready to get up and leave and show you how to get to his house.
Yeah, Iris does kind of give Pearl a bit of an odd look, but everyone kind of adapts at their own pace.
Az will offer her arm to Sebastian. Mr. Sebastian, are you ready?
oh.
He'll nod. Sebastian will nod. And actually, he'll get a cookie out from one of Iris's cookie that he probably often poor little Pearl, and he'll say, "There, that will make you feel better."
She'll kind of look at the cookie and go, "Thank you, Mr. Sebastian. I'm so happy you and Mrs. Zora are going with us."
Benji
Oh.
looks at the five of you and gets up and kind of like shuffles purposely over towards Iris, who seems to be the only unescorted lady, and basically
Aw.
starts walking off with indicating that Iris should follow him.
Yep, and Iris is gonna walk next to him, seeing as everybody else is getting paired up.
He's got that
She'll walk
slow
with the
old
guys.
man shuffle.
Like, Soren's kind of looking like he doesn't.
So
He
Soren
doesn't know
knows
how
why.
this became a thing.
Soren knows why he's being used. It's the same thing he was used for the last scene.
Oh yeah, no, he gets that, and he's kind of cool at that, even though he's rolling with 2 lethal. Although I think it may be 1. I think his 1 may have healed. I'd have to double check.
Sure, go for it.
Maybe important later.
You healed a lethal. Yay!
Beautiful.
Let's put it like this. If it wasn't for Devon giving Pearl a weapon, the only thing she'd be able to do is squill and dodge out of the way and throw her books at enemies.
That's pretty much what Iris would do too. But she does make very good cookies.
Yes.
So the cookie is very tasty.
cookies are naturally very tasty. I love Iris's cookie.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Oh jeez.
You should see some of the stuff that Iris has made.
Before they go anywhere, Az is gonna touch Soren and heal him completely.
Okay, sweet, because I just realized one lethal heals every like 2 days. Like someone's actually
Yeah. Just for reference, she made this for Thanksgiving.
My goodness.
That's hard.
So do Soren and I still have lethal damage?
Yeah, that takes like 2 days to heal.
Azure, did you heal him by taking the damage on yourself?
No, sir, I used Warmth of Blood, Spring Contract 3.
Oh, she downgraded it from lethal to bashing?
Yep. So you have 1 bashing right now, Soren.
Okay, and that'll heal in like 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yay!
And what do you have,
Did you do it
Sebastian?
to... Seb has 1.
Okay, hold on. Nothing.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Stay there at that 1 lethal.
Sebastian, make me a wits plus composure roll. Anybody else can make the same roll, but it's going to be -4 dice.
2 successes.
Oh, what kind of roll is this again?
Roll.
Wits
Composure.
composure -4 dice.
-4 dice. Okay.
That would give me 1. I'm not gonna save.
I got nothing.
Oh, hold on.
Wait.
Does that mean you have 1 die, or you have no dice and would have to roll a chance
That
die?
means I have 1.
If you have
One
1,
is
you can
too
roll
bad.
it. Doesn't mean anything.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look. I'm glad you told me to do that. So
Well,
I
hey,
have
get it.
1.
Yep, I have 1 as well.
Okay.
Seb had 2.
Okay. And Pearl, did you want to roll?
If your wits plus composure is 5 or more, it's worth rolling. If your wits plus composure is 4, it's not so much worth rolling.
True.
Because at -4, if you've still got 1 dice left, you're not really risking anything by trying. But if you've got no dice left and you roll a chance dice anyway, bad stuff can happen.
True. But I'm not sure that Pearl is there right now. Are you there, Pearl?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you want to roll?
Sure. What am I rolling, dear?
It is wits plus composure -4 dice.
So I roll 1 dice. Okay.
If you have, okay, there's a difference between rolling 1 die that you have left and rolling a chance die. So,
Yeah, if
you're
you
rolling,
have 1 die left, as in if your wits plus composure is 5, then it's worth rolling 1 because you can still do stuff. If it's down to 0 dice, you can still roll 1 dice, but bad stuff happens if you fail. That's the only way that you can botch.
Yeah, I have 5. I have 5 dice total, and since it was -4, that leaves 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. It's worth a try then.
I got a 5.
Yep, nothing. Okay, so we had Seb got 2 on that roll, if I remember correctly, and then Iris and Azure each got 1, right?
Mhm.
Okay, Iris and Azure, you pick up on the fact that the ghosts are paying a fair bit of attention to Sebastian as he walks by. Sebastian, there are some of them that are looking at you like they're trying to decide whether it would be worth it to try and eat you.
Seb will just change his normal monotone way. Seb will just say in his monotone way, "Don't eat me."
None of them do, but a few of them are giving you that kind of appraising look.
It looks like lunch.
Pearl is now stuttering quietly and whimpering.
So, Benji will lead you all outside. And the first thing that you notice when you come up and out of the castle and into Central Park itself, is that it seems a lot more crowded than it was when you went inside. And then, as you're moving along, you start to realize that the reason it seems more crowded, because you'll be walking along and there's people here and people there, and there's a couple of guys walking along, talking to each other. One guy with earphones in, and then all of a sudden somebody walks by who's got a clear bullet wound going out the back of his head.
Yummy.
And then you'll see, a bunch of people walking near the pond, and there's one girl sitting in the water, even as cold as it is, who's just blue, like completely blue, and things like that. So clearly, whatever the queen has done for you is this effect that's going to last until morning is not limited to seeing Benji.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, I would like each of you to roll one die, please.
I can, but I may not like it.
It's not
I've
the
got
fate
7.
die. Rather, it's not a
Oh my god!
die or anything.
No! Tim! It didn't screw me over again!
Yay!
You don't know that.
Okay.
You don't know whether high is good or bad this time.
Azor, I am so sticking carrot cake in your mouth in our next scene.
Carrot cake's amazing, though.
Lift your face again.
Okay, give me 1 second here, guys.
Hey, at least I'm not calling Queen Mirror the Dahlia anymore.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
did
that
happen.
happened.
Hang on 1
Just
second.
let it slide.
How All right, Iris, I need you to look at the chat real quick.
Okay.
And I know the rest of you can see that. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah, Iris is actually English. Jessica is American, but she doesn't know where from in America. She knows she lived on Maple Street, but there's like 5,000 of those.
Okay. You're walking along and just kind of minding your own business, and you'll hear somebody call out, "Anne!"
And Iris will turn.
Okay. There is looks to be like a late middle-aged gentleman in a decent suit kind of thing.
If you've got a ghost showing up, bear in mind both of her parents died quite old at the time, but both of her parents died like 3 months ago in a car accident. Just before she escaped.
This is not one of her parents.
Okay. I just figured if it was ghost related, then I'd pop the option there.
Yeah, you look at this person, and this is clearly a dead person that's walking towards you, although you don't see any visible grisly looking wounds or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes you a second to place him, and then you realize this is Mr. Winifred, your second grade teacher.
Mr. Winifred.
Mm-hmm. And he's walking. Like,
you do realize Winifred is actually her middle name.
I did not actually.
That's why I put in the chat Anne Winifred Green.
Oh, damn it! Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's where I got that name. We'll call him Mr. Laister then.
Hi, Mr. Laister.
And he comes walking. And so lovely to see you. I haven't seen you since you were. Well, a good deal younger. How are you? What brings you to New York? Are you? He kind of gives you a look over for a moment, and he looks to Benji, and then he looks back to you, and he's like, "Oh,
I'm not dead.
oh, I no, you're not. You're looking very well, as a matter of fact. Interesting. I'm not usually able to see people who are alive this clearly. You're
However,
very colorful."
if they can see the meme as well as the mask, she does have her rainbow tears going on and her purpley hair.
Mm-hmm. You don't know for sure what exactly he can see, but he did just say that you're very colorful.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Well, it kind of took me and replaced me with a doll, and then I came back here.
Really? Why
I'm
New
not.
York?
She shrugs. I don't know. This is just where I came back.
Oh. Well, I always wanted to come to the States and learn a little more about. I forgot. Something. I had a reason to come here, and escapes me now. But I I came here apparently, and here I am.
Well, it's nice that you get to travel.
Yes, very much so. I've traveled quite a bit, I think. But this is where I was towards the end, and I like it here. Isn't it a lovely day?
It is.
He smiles and kind of seems to sort of get lost for a moment, just kind of staring off into the distance.
Seb will smile to him and then look to Iris and will say, "We should really get going."
Benji's going to nod and say, "Please." He's going to be like that for a while. He's a nice man, but well, I'm not even sure he really knows you. He thinks he knows everyone, and everyone thinks they know him.
Oh, okay. Well, goodbye, Mr. Layson, and I hope you get to keep exploring.
He looks towards you. Oh, thank you, Anne. And he'll reach out to shake your hand and put his hand roughly where yours is and move it roughly in a shaking
Yeah.
pattern.
And Iris will put her hand roughly where his is and move it in a roughly appropriate pattern.
Okay, so Benji will lead you all on, and you'll come to. He'll basically take you down to the subway, where there are a couple of. There's definitely still plenty more ghosts, and a couple of them kind of grisly looking. You'll take a train down a little further down the island, and finally you'll come up into the after a couple of rides and such. You'll come up into the Lower East Side. So he's doing his old man determined shuffle down the street ahead of you. And he says, "Oh, it's just up here. It's just over here." He'll lead you to a doorway that takes you. That he will just walk up to the door and walk through the door and disappear.
Seb will open the door.
Okay, it's locked.
So no one has a key. He'll knock on the door.
Nobody answers. There is a button next to it.
Yep, Iris is going to push the
Okay.
button.
All right,
To be fair, you guys were all walking paired up. She was walking with the ghost. She's probably
That's true.
in front.
so Iris pushes the button, and after a minute, you hear, "Yeah."
Seb will just say, "We are here to help with well, actually, will he say that? He'll look to the group and to like, what should we say?
I sensed the spiritual energy in the area, and I wanted to check that you were okay.
I'm sorry.
I sensed a spiritual energy in the area and I wanted to check that you were okay.
You hear sort of a hesitation, and then you hear the phone on the other end hang up, and then there's a bang coming from the door.
Okay, well, Seb will try to open it then.
Okay, it opens up. And once you get the door open, Benji is there on the stairs like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot the door doesn't... Well, it does work for you, not for me. And then he turns around and continues up the stairs.
Pearl's eyes are half closed as she follows the group, and she's muttering, warm pillows, soft laundry sheets, Soren not fighting something with his knives, a book, roasting marshmallows.
Iris is going to pull out a box of cookies and put them in Pearl's hands, and then is going to head up the stairs.
Seb smells, pats Pearl on the head, and then goes upstairs.
So the stairs go up above a shop front. There's a little apartment here, and it's kind of a dingy little affair. By the time you get to the door upstairs, somebody has come and basically opened it so that the couple of chains on it are the only things keeping it from opening all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a young man standing there looking out at you. And Benji excitedly says, "This is him. This is the boy. Isn't he a nice boy?" He looks to be in his early 20s. Looks like it doesn't look like a bad guy or anything like that, though he looks really tired. And he's just kind of, you can only see one of his eyes as he's staring out at you from the partially open door.
Hello.
And he says, "Hi, what brought you here again?"
Seb will
Well,
look to Iris and say she's sensed a spirit here.
Spirit. What kind of spirit?
That's what we're here to find out. She's one of those
okay.
psychic kind of people.
Okay. I'm gonna let Azure take this one since it's kind of where she's, since she just jumped on it. So give me a manipulation plus subterfuge roll.
Okay, and because of my kiss, I get the 9 again.
Okay.
Heal.
It's gonna be you're gonna have a 2 die penalty because he's very skeptical about
Okay.
all this.
I'm
But
gonna,
anything you can do to bump your dice pool, go ahead and toss it in too.
I am going to spend willpower,
Okay.
so I'm back up.
My theory was if he's considering priests, he's probably open to the idea that something bad in spiritual is happening. So
It's not a bad idea. It's definitely not a bad thought.
Um, um, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. It's not a socialized roll, so I can't use my spring mantle.
No, I'd let you use your spring mantle for this.
Okay, so then that adds 3 extra die to that.
I would almost call it socialized, but I figured subterfuge was slightly better. So you get to re-roll 2 of those, it looks like.
Yep. One more. Alright, so 3.
Okay, great. He kind of looks at you for a minute, and then he closes the door, and you hear chains rattle, and when he opens it up, the chains are unlocked. And he looks out into the hallway, and he goes, "You don't have a camera crew or anything with you, do you?"
Nope, just us.
He kind of slowly nods and steps back and lets you in. Benji is smiling very broadly, by the way.
So, are you okay? Iris is going to ask.
Um, well, I mean, I'm not getting a whole lot of sleep. But, yeah, I mean, whatever I, look, I don't go in for all this psychic, supernatural shit, you know? I mean, no offense or anything like that, but, I mean, like, ghosts and goblins and whatever kind of fairy tale shit, I mean, it's just not my thing, you know? But I can't really explain it.
Iris will nod. It's not a lot of people's thing, but unfortunately, sometimes you're its thing. She shrugs.
He nods. He doesn't laugh or anything. He just looks. You can see, especially now that he's talking about it, just how tired he really is.
Um,
My name is Iris. And she'll hold her hand out.
Oh, Mike, nice to meet you. I'm sorry. Do you want something to drink? There's. It's not a big place, but he's got like a futon and a beat up recliner in here, and he'll indicate for you all to sit if you like.
Thank you. I'd really appreciate that. Could I have a glass of water?
Yeah, sure. I got water and orange juice, and I got cans of Coke around here somewhere.
would you like a cookie?
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great.
And when she hands him the cookie,
Uh
um, and he eats the cookie, he's gonna feel mighty refreshed and fine.
huh. Very nice. Um, what's your uh, what's your virtue, Kelly?
Uh, fortitude.
Fortitude. Okay, cool. Um, he'll smile and nod and sit down, and he looks visible. Actually, he'll take the cookie and he'll go into the other room, and he'll come back with some water, and he looks visibly refreshed when he comes back. He gives the water to Iris, and he says, "Yeah, the orange juice is off. Sorry. Uh, anybody want some water, Coke?"
I'm fine, and at this point, after stuttering that out, Pearl is now pushing a cookie into one of Soren's hands.
We'll just gotta take it and be like, okay, like, I guess.
So, Mike, what's been happening here?
Well, started shortly after I moved in. See, I like this place just fine because it's convenient to my work, but I actually got it. It's a two-bedroom, and you know how rare that is. But I don't have a lot of need for a lot of space, so I kept some extra stuff in the spare room. And look, like I said, I don't go in for this supernatural stuff, okay? But 2 nights after I moved in, I heard somebody walking around in the house. And when I went to check and see what was going on, I got up and walked to my door, and I heard them walk down the hallway and into the kitchen, slam the door behind them. And when I came out and went into the kitchen, I found the lights on and the stove standing open, or the oven standing open. And I didn't know what was going on, so I closed the oven and I turned off the lights and I went back to bed. Well, after that, it started getting worse. I mean, it's trashed most of the stuff that I had in my spare room there, and it keeps standing outside my door at night. And if I get up and go towards the door, it takes off down the hallway, and I hear it slam the door, and always with the lights and the oven open.
So out of character because I was away. Did he say how long ago that started?
He did not say how long, but he said it was 2 nights after he moved in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Seb will say. We'll ask. How long ago did you move in?
4 months.
Pardon?
And 4 months, and it happens almost every night.
Iris is going to look sympathetic, and then she's going to kind of look over towards Benji to see if Benji has anything to add.
Benji is watching him, and he looks very sad. And when you look at him, he's like, "It's not me. I can't even do that. I mean, look." And he points at the kitchen. He says, "There isn't even a door on that." And sure enough, there is no door on the kitchen.
Well, yeah, Iris, from Mike's perspective, Iris has just looked sympathetic, looked off to midair, and then looked at the door of the kitchen.
Yep.
There's no door there. How did they slam it?
He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I know where the sound comes from. I know I hear the movements. I don't know what happens with the door. It's not the front door. Not my door. It's not the spare room.
Hmm.
And it always winds up in the kitchen."
Have you seen anything? She kind of. There's a bit of a glance to Benji that she's kind of asking him as well, but she's looking at Mike when she says it.
Mike says, "I came out of the door one time, came out of my room in time to see something go into the kitchen. It was tall and dark and kind of spindly, but it was dark. I mean, the lights weren't on, and then it went in, and I heard the slamming sound, and the lights in the kitchen came on, but by that point, it was gone."
Seb will say.
And Benji, hmm?
He'll say, does it always appear in the kitchen? And is there anything that provoked it? Does it arrive at a certain time?
You were kind of really going in and out there.
Yeah, I lost you too.
She says, wait, what was it? He'll say, for the whole thing. She'll ask, so, it does it always appear in the kitchen? And is there anything you do? Is there anything that provokes it to come, or does it appear at a certain time?
Mike says it always seems to go back to the kitchen. I don't know for sure about where it comes from. I usually don't know if it's here or not until I hear it outside my door. But it comes most nights.
Do you mind if I take a look at the oven?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
Iris
yeah.
is going to head towards the kitchen, and she's going to try and use Dream to see if there's any active doors to the hedge around. She's also going to look to see if there's anything odd about the oven, and while she's away from the others, there'll be a bit of a finger crook to Benji as she's heading away, because she wants to try and talk to him away from Mike and see if Benji has seen anything.
Okay. Benji will follow you.
Hmm.
Which level of dream allows you to find doorways to the hedge?
It's level 1, because the others are all about actual dreams, but level 1 is about finding gates.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether it's only from the hedge to the real world, because I can't open it at the moment. But
Gotcha. Give me 1 second. This is why I keep books. Yay, books.
Oh, I've already pulled it up. If everyone doesn't mind me reading it off, or
yeah, go ahead.
um, basically, it won't let you necessarily detect where exactly a doorway to the hedge may be, but it would let you at least know that one is there. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, I'll just read off this if you succeed. For each success on the roll, the changeling learns a single pertinent fact about the local hedge. In most cases, this information is just that, a statement about whether something exists. It doesn't necessarily point out where a hollow or pathway might exist, just the fact of its presence. The distance in which such information drawing is effective is the changeling's line of sight. Therefore, this power may be curtailed by a mysterious fog in the hedge or a smoke cast by the hedge's burning.
Okay. So,
And
yes.
what is the catch, and what do I need to roll?
Well, the
Okay.
catch is you must have plucked a thorn from the local hedge and shed a single drop of blood while doing so within the last day.
Which I don't think he has.
Yeah, I don't think we can establish that that's happened.
Nope.
So, it's 1 glamour and intelligence plus weird.
Okay, 1 glamour plus intelligence plus weird. Okay, she's probably starting to. Oh, she's been spending some glamour this thing, but not that much. Okay. Intelligence plus weird. Nice.
Very nice.
3.
Okay. You are able to tell that yes, there is in fact a a doorway somewhere in the kitchen. You
In the
can't
kitchen or the door to the kitchen?
somewhere in the okay. If you're standing in the kitchen, then somewhere within your area of effect, as it were, your line of sight, there is a doorway. You don't know whether it's the doorway to the kitchen or whether it's
Because her
somehow something
suspicion is
else.
either the doorway to the kitchen or the oven, considering the oven keeps being left open.
Mm-hmm. Either is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay. Um. As for the local hedge and things like that, you get the distinct impression. Um. There's the smell in your nostrils of like gingerbread.
Oh, hell's yes, she's suspecting the oven.
Okay. The oven, it's one of those things where you pull it and there's the creaking of springs and such as it opens up, and then you're looking into an oven.
No, Nelson, I'm not thinking ghost. I am thinking changeling. I'm thinking gingerbread house witch type changeling or ob. So I think I'm very much thinking the best way to deal with this is to replace the oven, because then the door will open elsewhere. But this is just currently her theory.
Okay.
As I said, I'm going to try and talk to Benji out in the kitchen.
Okay.
Away from
Benji
Mike.
just followed you into the kitchen, and we'll listen to you.
Yeah. So, did you see anything?
I've seen something big, looming, long, skinny legs. I don't know.
Did you see where it came from and where it went?
Came from around the kitchen, but I can't see it clear. And it moves too quick for me to really make out anything, and then it's gone. But it comes and goes from the kitchen.
From inside the kitchen or from the doorway of the kitchen?
Seems like it comes from inside the kitchen, but I don't know. I don't know how these things work with you guys.
Okay. I've got an idea. The rest we might need to kind of figure out. And he's going to kind of wander back in to the others.
Okay.
I can't be sure, but I think it's the oven. That's what she's actually just going to say. I can't be sure, but I think it's the oven.
Mike looks at you and he's like, the oven? What do you mean, the oven? What about it?
That's what is bringing the ghost.
The oven is haunted?
I think so. It's hard to tell because the energy's kind of all over the kitchen, but I think it's the oven. And it would make sense with the oven being open every time.
So, what, like, somebody died in the oven?
Not necessarily. They might just have had a very strong attachment to the oven. I could smell a lot of gingerbread, so maybe they did a lot of baking and they were really close to their oven. She shrugs. I'm kind of new to a lot of this. I just know what I know.
Okay, so, what do we want to do?
Well, um, there's a few ideas. Um, we could we could see if it comes back tonight, if you didn't mind us staying, or we could see about replacing the oven. Um, I'm sure we can find a replacement oven, or something like that. Or we could try putting something in front to block the oven so that it won't open, and then see if that helps.
You, you mean if we block the oven, it might just stop whatever?
It might. This is the thing. There's I don't know until we try it, but it's something that could help. So we
Well, I
might
mean,
get rid of the oven and we could always try and make sure someone is here to help deal with the negative energy if it comes. She'll look slightly towards Thorin and Seb about the someone being here to deal with it. But yeah, then she'll look back to Mike with a bit of a smile.
uh, Mike is like, well, I mean, I don't know how much an oven costs. I can't just, I'd have to replace it.
I can buy you a new one. It's no problem.
Um, well, yeah, I mean, if you think the oven's the problem, then let's get rid of the oven. I mean,
It's definitely worth a try. I should warn you that um, there is more than one energy here. It's just that's the bad one.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a priest earlier. I could get. I'm sure they'd still be willing to come
Well,
out
the
and
thing is,
investigate.
there's a good one here too, and it would be nice not to get rid of him as well.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to make a manipulation plus subterfuge roll, Iris. It's not entirely subterfuge though. I guess it's more like socialize. Let's do that
Okay.
because you're not really telling him anything that isn't true.
Yeah. So manipulation, socialize, plus
And
a glamour.
you're
Or
gonna be one die down. So
manipulation, socialize. Yep. Okay. Plus a willpower because she really kind of likes Benji.
nice,
3 successes.
excellent. He'll
To be honest, I think the good presence might have been what told me to check on you.
Benji smiles at you. Mike nods. He says, "Okay, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll try it. I won't do anything yet. How about that?"
Still nod.
Okay. All right.
So we replace the oven. We put the oven somewhere we can keep an eye on it to see if it does anything strange, and we make sure somebody else stays here tonight in case it shows up anyway. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah. Like who? He says as he kind of sideways eyes Azure.
Oh,
Just kind of a quick look, but there's still enough incubus or succubus in you to recognize that look.
Adjusting her little 1920s vintage backpack, Pearl's gonna go, Miss Azure, I think you made a new friend.
He blushes deeply.
the look that she gives to Sebastian right now, it's a hold me back, bitch, kind of a look.
So, yeah, Sebastian holds her closer.
Just come here, baby.
So he'll kind of look down at his feet and he'll say, "It doesn't matter. We'll figure that out." Hey, he looks at Soren and Sebastian. He's like, "You guys want to help me move the stove then?"
Yeah, Seb will nod.
Sounds good. As he less kind of walks away from Pearl and more kind of just, I feel like he has to peel her off.
No, she actually like willingly lets go of your arm and goes over to Iris and is like holding onto her hand.
This is when it would have been nice to be to be playing Changeling the Dreaming and have that slew just slither ability, wouldn't it?
Oh God, I hope you. There's a specific character that Soren is kind of based off of, and Swarm would be amazing right now.
Seb will hug Az and will say, "Don't hurt anyone, Mummy," and then we'll move the oven. As this might look weird to the guy, because someone that looks like 20 to 30 years older than Az has ghosted coming.
So okay, basically, we'll boil it down real quick. Who's going to stay and keep an eye on things here?
I nominate Captain Darkness.
Which one?
We have two
There's
possible
definitely two of them.
At least one should probably stay in the apartment, possibly both.
Pearl will volunteer, saying she doesn't mind keeping a watch.
Okay.
It may very well end up being a sleepover in the living room, but we shall see.
Okay.
Iris, on the other hand, is going to see about trying to find somewhere they can put the oven and lock it in a room.
Where do you want to put it?
I don't know yet, but it needs to be in a room that we can lock from the outside and just kind of leave the oven in there so that it won't go causing any trouble if it does come out of the oven.
Okay. Um, if you go ahead and set that up, the tricky thing is where are you going to get that kind of capability? Who do you know that can do that? Does anybody have a contact with that sort of setup somewhere?
It's basically just a room we can lock.
Yeah, but you also
Um,
want to be able to watch it, right?
no. The plan is that we watch the house, see if he shows up without the oven being there,
And lock up the oven.
and lock up the oven.
Okay.
Someone
And then
someone
we can
should
check
probably
on.
stay with the oven too.
Well, to be fair, what we could do is once the oven is somewhere else, just go and see if we can open the oven.
Okay. If
So
you
if
want
we
to.
arrange that we're going to come back in like a few hours
Mm-hmm.
to stand watch, then in the meantime we take the oven, we go somewhere else, and we go through the oven,
Okay.
or at least look through the oven to see if it comes out in a hollow.
Okay. You can very easily get a storage compartment or something like that that's big enough to hold an oven in it.
That's
So
pretty much the plan, yeah.
yeah, that can be arranged. So if that's what you're going to do, and then you're going to go ahead and open up the oven and spin a point of glamour, open the oven.
I take it you guys are coming with her to look in the oven.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good. Because Iris does not do fighting, and this thing might attack her. So
Oh, my bad.
she's not cowardly, but she is aware of her strengths and weaknesses, and fighting is not one of her strengths.
Oh, my bad. So who's going where? Are all the Darklings staying outside, or are they?
No. The plan is we move the oven and we take it somewhere, and we'll be back in 2 hours to stand watch.
So Pearl's gonna probably help stand watch. I'm not sure if you're taking her right this minute or telling her to stay with the creepy old person. Soren is doing whatever Soren gets told to do because this is from his court. And I think Sebastian is the other Darkling, so he
Basic
kind
plan
of.
is that we're going to go and take the fight to whatever it is that is probably a Darkling.
Oh, goody.
Darkling slash ogre slash a bit of both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel Kith, it's a thing.
Yep. So yeah,
think
the plan
I
is to
remember.
try and check what is in this oven to be sure that the oven is the door that we are dealing with. And even if you move the door, if you open the door, it goes to the same place. So it won't end up going, well, there's a new oven here, I'm going to open this one. No, the door moves with the oven. So if the oven is the place it's been getting in and out, when we open the oven door, we should end up in its hollow.
Okay. So who all is going to investigate the oven? Everybody?
I think so.
That's what it seems like.
All right, great. Who's spending the glamour to open the door? Assuming there is in fact a door there.
Well, Iris, can you check and see if the door is still in the storage unit? If we move the oven out of the place and you check it again, And there's
Yes,
something in
however,
it.
it will end up spending a glamour to do that anyway, so it might as well.
Might as well try to open a door.
Yeah. So Iris will open the door because, she's not particularly high on glamour, but this is her having done most of her stuff already, so you guys are likely to need it more.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, so you go ahead and you go over to the oven
Hmm.
and you spin the glamour point and pull that creaky, springy door. And when the door opens up, there is definitely the smell of gingerbread wafting out of it. And although it smells like hot gingerbread, it feels like you pull it open and there is a frigid, frigid cold wind that blows out of it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a witch in a gingerbread house.
And as a matter of fact, when you look in, when you pull it open, there are a few snowflakes that come out and land on the oven door.
Uh-huh. No, she did actually say that aloud. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking it's a witch in a gingerbread house.
So, is anybody? Are you looking in? What are you doing?
I'm waiting for Iris to tell me what to do. She's the
Yep.
boss this time.
Well, Iris is looking in without poking her head in and without getting in the way of other people being able to see. But she's
Okay.
mostly going to be staying out the way so that, but give kind of Seb and Soren a bit of a glance because they're definitely more likely to be able to handle poking their head into somebody else's hollow.
Yeah.
Well, if you look in, it doesn't appear to go directly into anybody's hollow. What you see is a dark, wooded forest area with a path that runs off into the distance and is very quickly lost in the dark.
Okay, in that case, Iris will kind of poke her head through cautiously.
Okay. You have now poked your head in, and yeah, it's bitterly cold. Like, really, really, really cold. And there are tall, well, I don't want to say dead, but denuded trees down either side of this path that you would assume to be the local hedge. And make me another wits plus composure roll.
Is this everybody or just Iris?
Well, it's only Iris at this point because she's the only one that's actually like in a position to see what's available.
Okay.
3 successes.
Okay. As you stick your head in and look around, one of the things that you notice just barely visible on the ground is what appears to be an enormous bird's footprint.
She's gonna, still quite cautiously, climb into the oven.
Okay.
Seb will follow her, not wanting Iris to get hurt on her own, so he'll get in.
Okay.
As Pearl follows, she'll kind of mutter, I may be a optimistic, believe in good versus evil. I'm not religious. Please forgive me if I was wrong, God, and climb into the stove.
Covering the bases. Nice.
And Az has to fight not to close the door to the oven behind her as she crawls in. Oh.
Okay. So, is anybody not going into the oven? All right. So you all climb in. Now it is winter in New York, so I'll give you that. But how many of you are wearing really, really nice warm clothes right now?
I'm not wearing nice warm clothes, but I am wearing like a decent hoodie.
I'll PM you, Dante.
Yeah,
Seb
Iris is
recently
usually wearing her hoodie. She will be zipping her hoodie up.
Seb
I
recently,
picked up
so
her
it's fair
hood.
to say that he is wearing really warm clothes.
Okay. Um, have any of you ever been in like an industrial walk-in freezer?
Oh God, yes. Fuck that.
It's like
Yep.
that.
Fuck. That's awful.
Iris is going to take some string from her bag. Well, I say string, it's probably wool. And she will tie it to whatever door they have come in through.
Okay. Let's see.
Because even though there's a very clear path, it's the hedge.
Oh yes.
So yeah, she will tie some of her wool. Considering, yeah, likelihood of what Iris is likely to be carrying, yeah, it's probably bright purple wool.
Bright
Well, not
purple
bright,
wool.
kind of bright baby purple wool.
All right, Dante, PM sent.
Gotcha. Looking for it.
Apparently, you weren't on my friends list, so it might not be in your inbox.
Apparently not. Hang on. Goody, I need to do this whole dance and try and figure out that. Oh, you know what? Screw that. I'm just going to look on the computer itself instead of trying to be nifty and use my phone.
Yeah, they have a separate box for people not on your friends list requests.
Oh, I
God, I
know.
hate that so much.
And
I
it's
do too.
impossible to get. I stumbled into it through the phone one time.
Like, no, really. Like, there was one message I got about 2 years later because of that shit.
Yep. There we go. There's a message request. Hang on. Huh. Okay. I see your message, and I understand what you're getting at here, but you are still going to be frickin' cold.
I figured.
Yeah, it is really problematic. I mean, without using any kind of magic or anything like that, you guys are all going to have a hard time.
I gotta ask, Azur went over with us, right?
Yeah.
Azure did come through, yes. Nobody said they were staying behind.
Okay, the next thing Pearl's gonna do is like blow on her hand some and then like grab Azur's hand and just like cling to her for some warmth.
So, are we at the point now where we're taking penalties for cold?
Not yet.
Az
Okay.
is gonna reach into her bag and pull out a scarf, a hat, and gloves and throw them to Pearl. Here, bundle up, kid.
Mmm. Mmm.
Thank you, Mrs. Azur.
Soren's
Okay.
actually making this noise, by the way, and he just says, I didn't know snow was that salty.
Pearl is looking at Soren very confused.
So,
Wait.
you are now standing on what appears to be a moonlit path. Just barely moonlit, by the way, although there does appear to be like a full moon kind of thing. There is, I mean, the moonlight barely filters down to the ground here. Hang on a second, let me check and see something real quick. You can hear the distant calls of ravens and things like that.
Iris is going to point at the big bird footprint to make sure everyone sees it.
If you point it out, everybody will be able to see it, and there's another one about 6 feet away.
Yep.
And by the way, Iris, that is beautiful wool, but I am going to point out that in a barely moonlit, snowy landscape, it's going to disappear from view.
That's why she's holding on to it.
I'm just saying, don't drop it. You'll never find it again.
Yep.
All right.
I went with the colour she was most likely to have in her bag.
Oh, no. I appreciate that very much so. I just want to make sure that everybody that you understand that it's probably not going to be as effective as invisibility terms, as if it was like a bright green path or something like that. In a normal hedge setting, that would be perfect. Here, it's kind of, yeah, don't drop it.
Yep.
Okay, so off you go. Um, every once in a while, yes, you will see these bird footprints, and they are about a foot long each one. Um, they sink a little more deeply into the ground than you would expect the average bird's foot. Not that any of you is an ornithologist, to my knowledge, but definitely long strides and uh, deeper footprints than you'd expect. Excuse me. And it goes further and further into the hedge, and by the time anything happens, you guys are all basically shivering. And while you're standing there with your arms around you going, you see something walk by in the distance. It is what looks like a hut, like a little house on bird legs. It just walks across the path about 50 feet ahead of you, and it looks like the house itself is maybe a foot tall. The legs are about 6 feet long, and then it disappears into the right side of the. It comes from the right side, crosses the path, and disappears into the left side down another path.
Does it smell of gingerbread?
It's hard to tell. Smell doesn't carry very well in a cold environment. At least not a cold, dryish environment. So you don't really smell much of anything at the moment. Your noses actually right now are not. Even if smell carried better, your noses aren't up to the task of smelling at the moment.
Fair enough.
So do you guys want to pursue this thing?
Guess
Totally
we
up to
do.
you right now.
Yeah, looking at the rest of the group.
Iris has sorted out getting them this far and is keeping hold of her ball of wool.
Yeah, well, Seb will start moving forward.
Az will dig around in her bag again, and she will hand both of the other two girls each a container of pepper spray. Okay, quick lesson, right? The nozzle goes away from you, you pull the red trigger. Squeeze. Don't run into the cloud, run away from the cloud. Okay?
Mrs. Orr, I know that much. We had something similar before I was taken. I'm a teenager. I'm not stupid.
Just covering my bases. And I really don't think out of character that they had pepper spray in the 20s.
No, they didn't. They did have something similar that the military used, though.
Yeah, mustard gas, but that was in a big
Yeah.
pumping container.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have known about it a lot more, though.
Please tell me that Pearl thinks that Azure just handed her a container of chemical warfare.
Yeah.
yeah, she kind of does.
That's awesome.
Bear in mind, she was taken in the 20s. You know,
Beautiful.
if you would have. How old was she when she was taken?
The day she turned 18.
Yeah, so she would have been a toddler at the time, but still would have probably known something going on about the war.
She would have seen the news.
Yeah, so yeah, mustard gas would totally have been a thing. Wouldn't have been something that you'd expect women to have in their purse, but
Not at all. But
But yeah, definitely a thing.
Okay, so um, Seb has declared that he is hauling off after this thing, correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, and
Iris
he
is
does take his whip out.
yeah. Iris is focusing on both keeping up, not tripping over her feet, and unraveling this wool at an appropriate pace.
Pearl
okay,
is slightly slower, following with her what she thinks is chemical warfare pointing down and away from her in the group as she follows.
where's Azure in the lineup here?
She's after Seb. She's got her gun out.
Okay, so you're up there next to Iris, basically pounding along.
Yep.
And then we've got how about Soren? Where are you?
Soren's probably kind of near the middle of the group, so that way if anything happens, he can react quickly and get places and stab the shit out of something.
Okay.
And
So
is it dark or is it like nighttime
yes, very much so.
where they are?
Oh hell yeah! Then I think we're both activating night subtle distractions.
Seb also activates his keys as well to the one she hasn't seen it before. Pearl. Seb just human form just starts fading and he just starts becoming like a kind of a cloud more thing.
Shadow
Okay.
person kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So
as
plus
they're
one
kind of
defense.
as they're kind of moving, Soren will just say, "Everyone, join hands for a second."
What looks like
Well, you
hands.
asked nicely.
What looks like hands on Sebastian will reach out to
Yeah.
well, let's say Soren and Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah, Iris will probably have to be on one end of this chain because while she's tucked her pepper spray into her belt, she's holding onto the wall with one hand. So
Okay. So now that everyone's definitively holding on, only reason I'm doing this is because if I activate night subtle distraction like this, they won't be affected by it, and they can still see each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
Woo! Okay. So any environmental penalties for it's 2 10s. Okay. Any environmental penalties for darkness are now like doubled.
Okay.
And Sebastian uses it as well, and he's also got 2 successes.
Okay.
That means they're quadrupled, basically.
If you want to play it like that, then yeah.
Yep. I'm not times 3. Come on, let's be cool about it. It's times
All
2
right.
times 2. That means times 4.
All right.
All right. Okay. So and then you resume your movement down the thing, correct?
Yep.
All right. Um. Okay. Pearl,
Yes.
are you wearing any kind of jewelry?
Actually, no, she wouldn't be wearing any jewelry.
All right. No problem.
are you asking everybody that?
Nope. Just Pearl.
Okay.
What's your defense, Pearl?
I'm gonna just say this now. Fuck you. Her defense is a 2.
Okay.
This is not
Hey,
gonna be fun.
you wound up at the back. It's not my fault.
That is fine because, Soren already knows he's gonna be the meaty shield.
And he doesn't understand how he's the meat shield with 2 stamina. But
Okay. Wow, that was a sucky roll.
I see 1 at least though.
Yep. There's a sort of a swirling noise and a very um sort of a crackling above you, and then suddenly a pillar of, if it's hard to imagine, but even colder air falls down over you along with like some frozen, some serious snowfall and such, and you wind up pretty wet from snow, but also standing in about 6 inches of snow, and you take 1 point of lethal damage from cold.
Okay.
You're also at a -1 die penalty to all actions for the rest of the scene due to the extreme chill. That's going to stack.
Righty.
So Pearl is extremely cold now. Nice one, Jessica.
Mm-hmm. I blame Tim.
Don't blame me because you didn't get higher dex and wits.
I may do with the stats I could spend.
Shh. Always get 3 dex and 3 wits. Always.
So
I have 3 decks.
you guys heard this happen behind you. So what do you do?
Well, Iris is going to stop to look back.
Okay. And you see a very distressed and shocked looking Pearl standing in about 6 inches of snow.
It's no offer.
Yeah, we're gonna dig her out.
It's
Dust her
it's
off.
not it's not hard, but I mean, she can kind of step out of it. But
Az will take off her coat and put it on Pearl.
okay, that will help with some of the penalties that have accrued already. You guys are at this point. You're all going to be 2 dice down from just sheer cold, and Pearl is a -1 from that. So
Okay.
it's gonna be with Azure's coat. I'll allow it to. It won't decrease as fast as it might otherwise. Rather, it won't increase as fast as it might otherwise. But Azure, you're also, losing a layer of protection against the cold.
Yeah. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
she digs around in her bag again and pulls out one of those, like Mylar emergency blankets
Sure.
and wraps herself up in it.
Okay. It's a start.
It's better than nothing. I'll be a potato for a little while.
um.
The most beautiful potato.
Ah, I'm a pretty spud.
So what next, guys? What's your next action here?
Put Pearl in the middle.
Yeah.
Good call.
Pearl is disturbed by the pearl sandwich.
At least you have clothes on.
At least I do.
All right, guys. What's next?
Iris is just going to look at everybody and be like, do we want to keep going? I mean, we can go back and wait for it to come to us, but
Pearl, if you want to vote to keep going, you're going to need to make a willpower roll.
Okay. Let me load my dice up.
Okay.
I roll my actual points of willpower for that, right?
Your current willpower pool. But I mean, if you say no, hell with that, I want to go back, you don't have to roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I mean, what's the worst
Okay.
that could happen? They have to
That's
carry
fine.
me back?
True.
I've only been here a couple of days. I get a little bit of a loose thread there. Okay, my willpower is a 4,
Okay.
so I believe that's 4 dice.
Yep. Have you spent any?
No, I have not.
All right. 4 dice.
And I get to re-roll a 10.
Nice.
And 3 successes.
Oh, it just pissed her off. That's all.
Okay,
Now she's ready to go full murder hobo.
There you
So,
go.
so kind of stomping in the snow as she tries to keep up, Soren would probably hear little stuttering words of "fuck the snow, fuck the cold, want my warm room, my mug of hot cocoa, and I want to finish reading The Great Gatsby."
Oh, right, that's new for you.
Does she say that loud enough for people to hear?
She's just kind of like muttering, but like a kid would almost
Yeah.
beside you.
Because Iris is definitely going to react to the comment about the Great Gatsby, and she's going to go, can I borrow that when you're done with it?
Yeah, I read it at work since we have like 5 copies in there. I figured the boss wouldn't mind me taking one for a night.
Because Claudio wants his birthday party to be Gatsby themed, and I haven't read it.
Okay, so what's your next move, group?
Sally forward.
Yep.
All right. Are you going to continue the direction you were going previously?
I'm going to gaze down the path and see if I see anything.
You don't see anything ahead of you. It crossed your path ahead of you, but then the attack just now came from behind.
So she's going to look at Soren and Sebastian. Alright, there's nothing that way and something back the other way. What do we do?
We could go towards the something.
I mean, we're 6 inches deep and all wet. I think the scene is about as bad as it can get.
Yeah, Iris took the lead on getting them here and finding the oven. The fight stuff is entirely up to you guys, and that sentiment is all over her face. She's not actually going to say anything, but it is fairly obvious that is what she's thinking.
Yeah, Iris and Pearl are too squishy for up close combat.
She dealt with Mike though, and she makes good cookies. So
And we have boobs. We can cheer them on by bouncing.
Okay, Iris probably wouldn't think of that one.
All
But yeah.
hostiles take a -3 dice penalty to all actions for the distraction.
Yeah.
Oh, great. We're in a party with 2 bards.
Yup.
Alright, so let's go toward the thing then, right?
Yep, let's do it.
Alright. Squishy's in the middle.
Totally.
Who's taking the lead and who's taking the rear?
Are we heading back towards where we came from now?
Yep.
If you head back in the direction from which that attack came, yes, you will be heading towards
Okay,
where you
so Iris will probably be relatively near the front. She's not going to try and be at the front. But considering there's 3 squishies and 2 less squishies that may or may not be squishy, it's
Az is not squishy.
there's not so much of a middle really.
Gotcha. Okay.
Iris will probably aim to be second so that she can roll the wool up as they head in that direction, without it getting too much in people's way.
Gotcha.
So Soren at the back, Az and Seb at the front,
Yep. I guess.
girls in the middle.
Well, Iris, the weird thing is that you're moving in that direction now, but you're not winding up spooling up thread.
Oh, balls.
It's like the
I
thread.
think there's a problem.
Huh?
I think there's a problem.
Like the thread is kind of not getting slack ahead of you.
Uh-huh. I think there's a problem.
I think someone's winding up the ball at the other end.
Possibly, or the directions are weird. and we're not actually heading towards it.
Az will pull a flashlight out of her bag and shine it down the string.
Okay. The
Seb
beam
will step
doesn't
away
carry.
from the light.
What's that?
Seb steps away from the light, gets away from the light.
Okay.
Soren.
Otherwise his key thing goes away, so he's like,
The beam doesn't carry nearly as far as you'd expect it to. But
Oh.
you can see where the you can point it at the thread, and you can see where the thread is laying across the ground going towards, whatever. It's not drawing tight or anything like that, but if you move forward, it just doesn't get any slacker. You don't see it move, but it doesn't get any slacker.
Like we're walking in place.
Kind of.
I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
Soren, stay with them. Sebastian, you want to take a couple steps forward with me?
yeah, he'll follow you.
So she's gonna hold the thread
Okay.
while it's still in Iris's grip and follow it for a couple feet with the flashlight in front of her and I guess Sebastian behind her.
So are you just going to try and follow the thread?
Yeah.
Okay. You get a few feet away from Iris, and you're still holding the thread. The thread is passing through your hand.
And then I'm gonna give the thread a little small tug.
Like ahead of you or behind you? You're going to tug it?
Ahead of me. Just a
Okay.
little tug. Not like a yank, just like a pressure test.
Okay. It's laying on the ground, and so you can feel that. It doesn't pull taut or anything like that.
Alright, so not like something's holding the other side?
Right.
Okay. She's gonna tie a little bow in the section a couple feet away,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back.
Okay.
Alright, let's try to move again.
Okay. Seb will follow.
Okay. So you're going to try and move forward away from the...
No, back toward it. Like, back the way that we were originally traveling.
Oh, that's more than fun. You can get back to the group like that.
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to the group and then move with the string to see if we meet the bow that I made out in the distance.
Now that you're moving forward, yeah, it's generating slack, and you're pulling up, and you get to the knot, no problem.
Okay.
So,
We are traveling in a direction, and it's moving. It's just...
so if we were heading, following the thread rather than heading in that direction, it works.
Yeah, if you're following the thread, everything seems okay. If you're just moving in the direction the thread seems to have come from, no, it doesn't seem to
So if we
feed.
follow in the direction the thread looks to be, we're
Mm-hmm.
basically moving parallel with the thread,
Right.
or at right angles to the thread rather. Whereas if we actually physically follow the thread, we actually make progress.
Right. Well, okay. If you follow the thread, you make progress towards the end of the thread.
Mhm.
If you move along and appear to be going the same way the thread was, then you don't make progress on the thread, although you're apparently making progress on something.
Iris is now very, very glad that she tied the thread.
So apparently we're moving, but the thread is staying in place.
Sometimes if we move in the direction, not so much if we feel our way there. So the thread is going in a direction. It's not necessarily the same direction we are going.
It just looks that way.
And Iris looks confused, even as she's trying to explain.
Yeah.
But
as
yes, this is where the
for-
antiquarians can do their occult stuffs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay!
So I'm just gonna do just Entacult. Or do you? Or is Iris actually wanting us to actually start using our powers and shit?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm doing Entacult first.
This is where the occult stuff it needs working out.
Yeah.
Would I be getting Lost Lore for this, Dante?
No, this wouldn't be lost lore, but occult definitely counts.
All right.
Can I spend a glamour or willpower on this, Mr. ST?
Absolutely, you can.
I would
Seb-
like to spend a glamour to be safe then.
You
Seb,
certainly may.
Seb did get one success.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Seb did get one success on that occult.
Okay.
Same with Soren.
All right.
Okay. I forgot my extra dice because of specialty. Hold on. Add an extra. Oh, well, not that it mattered, but I spent a glamour and I got one success.
Okay.
An 8 and a glamour. So,
So does that count for 2 for you, or what are we looking
I
at here?
believe that counts for 2 if you spend a glamour, right?
Well, I mean, it's an antiquarian thing, right?
I was just rolling intelligence and occult. I hadn't activated my gift yet.
Okay. Let's see. Hang on a second.
I mean, Iris will keep me warm and I'll activate my gift if I need to and re-roll.
You gain the benefit of the encyclopedic knowledge merit for 1 question. In that case, so, I don't remember the exact effect of that merit, but we'll just say it means you know a damn lot. So,
Basically, for every success, we get a useful tidbit of information. I wasn't using it at the moment. That was just my Entacult.
gotcha. Yeah, for those of you who just got the 1 success, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but then again, it's the hedge.
Okay.
Most of this stuff just kind of doesn't.
So is this just a
Or-
basic intelligence occult?
Yeah,
you can
this
look
was...
at it like that. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
for Pearl, who actually spent the die, oh yeah, it's entirely a question. Direction is completely relative when you're talking about in the hedge. Just because you appear to be moving in the direction of the string doesn't mean you are, unless you're following the string. In which case, yes, you're following the string, and you'll eat up the slack.
Okay.
She'll go on her little rambling, know-it-all little Miss Press lecture about that.
Oh, 2 successes on just a normal occult thingy.
Yeah, you're able to figure out almost exactly the same kind of thing she is pretty quickly. Yeah, it's just you're
To be fair, that
following
was
the
kind of
thread.
how she already explained it.
Exactly. You're following the thread, and that's how it works. When
Mhm.
you're not following the thread, you're not following the thread, and therefore the thread may or may not go your way.
Yep. Yep. Iris is very, very glad that she tied that thread on.
So, yeah, we just keep following Iris's special thread and hope we hit that right spot.
Well, if you follow the thread, you will go back and back and back until you finally come to a place that looks. There's like almost like a wall, like a stone wall that you've come to, and there's a little wooden door in it that's not very big. You can crawl through it, and there's a glass window in it through which you can see the inside of the storage compartment.
Because we're back to the door.
Is there anything different around here? Creatures?
No, I mean you can hear crows and things every once in a while, but all of you have gotten another point of down on every roll at this point, just from the cold.
Maybe we should just wait for it to come out.
That might be a good idea.
Seb
Or we
will
can
not.
just go home and close the door. Like, we do have people that can just close the door permanently, don't we?
We do, or we could destroy the oven and that would destroy the door.
All of you at this point have lost feeling in your hands and feet.
I definitely think we might need to
Regroup. Let's go home and come back.
No, at least we know this is where we need to go.
Iris is going to keep following the thread to the door, not just walking in the direction of the door.
Wise choice. So you reach the door, and one of you will need to spend a glamour to open it.
Seb does have two weird, so he'll spend a glamour.
Okay. And then you can push the door open, and you wind up crawling out into the storage space.
Yep.
As soon as they're back in the real world, Pearl's gonna let out a deep breath, go,
Once you close the door of the oven behind you, I mean, it's probably in the 60s or so in this storage compartment, but it feels toasty and warm.
I figured compared to our 6 inches of snow.
Exactly.
Yep.
Your little 20-minute trip into Antarctica there was kind of chilly. So
I am definitely feeling like we should get some hot chocolate and some.
Oh, I can make us some hot chocolate and have some warm little donut thingies I can put with it. For everyone. I said that wrong.
Yeah, you said that a little wrong, but that's okay.
That is definitely something we should do, but we need to do something to make sure that this doesn't go anywhere first.
True.
you guys can make me intelligence plus occult rolls.
Okay. That is, with occult, that is 7 dice for me.
Can a brother get lost, lore?
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Alright.
What's a success? Is it standard 7 or is it 6?
It's 8,
It's
actually.
8.
Okay. Well, I need to re-roll my 2 10s. Okay, 4 successes for me.
She
Nice.
is out antiquarying me right now.
Suck it, Tim! I'm better!
At least it's not antiquarian you this time.
Seb
Oh,
got
boy.
2.
That's the
I got
second
3.
time I've outdone you.
Yeah,
All right.
somehow I still think I'd rather have Soren having my back in a fight.
That is true. He is much better with a knife than poor little Pearl. She throws
So-
her books.
For those of you who have successes on the roll, and especially for Pearl, as long as the door can't open, it can't come out. If you were to chain the door shut or even push it up against the wall, you would
Does it
trap
have a handle on the front of it?
Yes.
Is it like one handlebar, or is it like the old stoves with 2 handlebars, one on top of each other?
No, it's got one. Just one.
Okay, never mind. What I was thinking to do won't work.
But there's any number of ways you could tie it or chain it shut, or like I said, you could even just push it so that the door faces the wall.
Yeah,
Now-
Iris is going to take some of the wool and use it to tie the door shut.
As
And
will hand her a roll of duct tape.
Yep, and then she'll use Az's duct tape, and then
Okay.
she'll look to Seb and Soren and be like, "Could you put it against the wall?"
Seb will start to carry it. He has 3 strengths. He can probably carry it on his own, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
And he just puts it against the wall.
Okay, cool.
So does
Someone strange 2S is happy and not doing more heavy lifting.
So,
We should definitely go and check that Mike is okay and make hot chocolates on his new stove.
That is fine with me. I will make you whatever you guys wish.
Iris will blink because she usually does the cooking. But if it makes Pearl feel better, then she will let Pearl do the
It makes Pearl feel slightly useful.
cooking.
so you all head back towards Mike's apartment
Mike and Benji's place.
in the balmy 50-degree New York weather.
Yep.
And yeah, once you get there, I mean, you can certainly have some hot chocolate and such. Everything seems to be just fine. If you stay the
Yep.
night there, nothing happens. And he even seems to be just plain feeling better.
Yep.
So
That's good.
there you go. So we can deal with the thing in the oven another time if you guys would like to, because I think we need to go ahead and wrap up here.
It's 12:30 here. My roommates are home. They're gonna want to go to bed soon. I can OC, but I can't really scene with them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's 1:30 here, so it's definitely time for me to hit the hay for work.
Oh, by the way, when you make the hot chocolate, you may notice that Iris sneaks some cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger and honey into hers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Seb smells that she put on.
I mean, I figured I'd give y'all the top service Pearl can afford, like when she gives Liam breakfast in bed
Yeah.
with the chocolate and the coffee.
Sounds perfect. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. And everybody have a great night, and we'll see you again soon.
Okay.